crocodile. These slippery stalk-and-ambush predators' ancestors gobbled dinosaurs and are widely regarded as evil in media representations, but you gotta hand it to them. They make excellent organists. Today I'm going to be discussing both the crocodile and the alligator and in between, because there's no guarantees the creators of these commercials knew the difference, and really, do you? Briefly, alligators are round, dark, and mostly stay in freshwater. Crocodiles are pointier, lighter, toothier, and they don't mind salt water. Because of this, crocs are much more widespread than alligators, and most of these commercials are probably representing them. Either way, they're adorable, they have great smiles, and I want to flip them over and pat their bellies. Crocodiles are widely associated with Africa, the Nile River, and thus Egypt. The ancient Egyptian religious tradition gives us Sobek, fertility god among other things, whose epithets include pointed of teeth, he who loves robbery, and he who eats while he mates. We should all be so skilled. We ought not forget Amit, too, part hippo, part lion, part crocodile, and all dangerous. This hungry girl waited patiently for furry favorite Anubis and his friend Top to weigh the hearts of deceased mortals against the feather of Maat. If the heart was deemed impure, Amit got to gobble it up, snip, snap. Alligators, meanwhile, are commonly associated with the American South, appearing widely as mascots, in branding, and in advertisements. They also feature in the stories of Native American tribes like the Choctaw. Additionally, there is an urban legend from Colombia about El Hombre Caimán, a man who asks a witch to turn him into an alligator so he can more easily spy on women bathing in the Magdalena River. Articles on this translate Caimán to alligator, but there are no alligators in Colombia. Don't mix up your crocodilians, folks. With that out of the way, let's bite into this episode and do a death roll.
Hey, great teeth and gums. You got quite a smile. What's your dental health secret, crocodile?
Thorough brushing and flossing every day. A good fluoride toothpaste.
That's the only way.
I visit my dentist regularly and I watch what I eat. No little snackies. Remember, brush well with fluoride. Visit you-know-who. Hey, hey, hey.
And watch what you eat.
'Cause really good teeth depend on you.
This is an excellent commercial to start off with, illustrating the two major ways crocodiles and alligators live in the popular imagination in only 30 seconds. What are those two ways? Why, dentistry and eating people. I love the design of this guy. He's so fat and happy, filling out the dentist chair with his broad bulk and showing off those belly scales. After receiving an excellent rating from his dentist, he enters into some kind of jazz pact with lyrics about brushing and fluoride.
Thorough brushing and flossing every day. A good fluoride toothpaste.
That's the only way.
Look how thick he is when he leans forward more. He swallows his dentist whole, and at this point, I'd like to mention that while at my first Anthrocon this past week, a gator furry was telling me that all of the gator croc furries he knew are into vore. Can my audience confirm? Deny? Comment below if you're a crocodilian carnivore. This croc regurgitates the dentist unharmed, and they both finish the number they were singing. Quite frankly, the dentist seems like a really chill guy. Or maybe this is that endosoma thing I've heard so much about. Like, there's a mattress and a lamp in there, maybe the dentist's wife? Near as I can tell, the Australian Dental Health Foundation has undergone numerous mergers with organizations like the Australian Dental Association since the time this commercial was made, and resources on the subject are scant. Their current form is a registered charity that dispenses information and grants related to dental health. As a queer person who raised herself under absentee parents, I want to urge my fellow queer people with a neglectful upbringing to brush and floss and take it seriously. The American dental industry is essentially a long-running scam and contributes to the widening of the class divide. Don't believe me? The CareQuest Institute for Oral Health found in 2021 that the poorest families pay 7.1 times more than the wealthiest for dental care and bear a disproportionate burden of out-of-pocket costs. Why should the poor be paying more for things exactly? So take care of those lovely choppers, people. How else are you going to bite your friends when they ask nicely? Let's swim over to our next set of 2 ads.
MSX. MSX.
Wasn't that a wonderful puppet? As much as I like animation, well-crafted stop motion like this is about as peak as it gets, and Japanese commercials were full of it. This first ad features a crocodile writing a love letter. Personal computer? Friend. The second is a little more dramatic, showing how immersive MSX games are with this Heikei Monogatari game. Our little crocodile friend gets so into the epic 12th century conflict between the Taira and Minamoto clans for control of Japan that he fully immerses himself into the action, sporting a kabuto and katana. I love how the last shot allows us to see the beautiful yellow tail rings and the sheer detail of the scutes on his lower body. Really impressive stuff. The ASCII Corporation, not to be confused with American Standard Code for Information Interchange, which was used to create all these wonderful images, was a Japanese publishing company founded in 1977. They began publishing a magazine with the same name and, in 1978, created Microsoft's first overseas sales office, ASCII Microsoft. ASCII made quite a footprint in video game history as the creator of the MSX home computer, which was what tons of Japanese people played video games on before a little company named Nintendo won huge market share with the Famicom. Major studios like Konami and Hudson produced their first games for the MSX, including the Metal Gear series, Bomberman, and Parodius. What's more, ASCII is also responsible for creating the RPG Maker series, meaning this little Japanese company from 50 years ago with the cute crocodile commercials is a decently sized domino leading to the creation of RPG Maker games like To the Moon, Yume Nikki, Off, Look Outside, and Fear and Hunger. Horrorheads out here eating great thanks to ASCII. ASCII still exists, but as of 2008 they rebranded as ASCII MediaWorks and mostly focus on publishing print media like magazines and manga, as well as video games for the Japanese market. Sticking with the theme of crocodile computing, let's high walk over to these next ads.
Voici les micro-ordinateurs Amstrad. À ma droite, le 6128, à ma gauche, le 464. Amstrad a tout prévu. Écran graphique, clavier, lecteur de disquettes ou de cassettes intégrées. Et une seule prise à brancher. Les micro-ordinateurs Amstrad...
Faites-le,
Ouais, écran graphique.
Clavier avec lecteur intégré. À ce prix-là, tout est compris, sauf le vendeur. Amstrad, le mordant informatique.
Quand on est accro, on en veut.
Ouais.
Avec l'Amstrad 6128, le micro-ordinateur complètement très bien, vous avez la totale.
Hello.
Apprendre l'anglais sans se prendre la tête. Se tirer la bourre avec les potes. Exploser la chetrouille du premier qui bouge. Et pour tirer dans tous les coins, l'Amstrad 464, avec son pistolet, sa manette et 6 jeux. Amstrad, une gamme d'ordinateurs complètement très bien, à partir de 1990 francs.
Pour les accrocros. Encore plus délire, l'adaptateur
Pour
télé.
regarder la télé sur votre Amstrad couleur. L'adaptateur, plus une manette, plus 7 jeux, 990 francs.
Magique.
French company Amstrad first produced the Amstrad Color personal computer in 1984, but these ads are for later repackages and enhancements known as the 464 Plus and the 6128 Plus computers, and the GX4000 video game console. The GX4000 features in most of these, but it just wasn't powerful enough to compete with the Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo. Its games are mostly from British and French companies like Ocean, Titus, and Lorisiles, meaning they also didn't have the game catalog to compete with other consoles. The GX4000 was a commercial failure, but we got such nice puppets out of the deal. These guys graced magazines of the era both in puppet and 2D art versions. Loving the fabulous hair on the barbarian croc. Actually, that's my favorite ad. It's much better than the uncomfortable stereotype commercials.
Je suis le tigre du Bengale.
Et moi, le croco Amstrad. C'est pour jouer sur la télé. La nouvelle console de jeu Amstrad, elle fait très mal. Je suis la fils du dragon. Et moi, le croco Amstrad. C'est pour jouer sur la télé. La nouvelle console de jeu Amstrad, elle est dans le coup.
Although these are supposed to be historical figures, the clever computer crocodile is defeating with, I don't know, superior VRAM? Can we talk for a moment about the crocodile on the right here gently stroking the human announcer with his tail? This guy does not seem perturbed at all. Do you think they're an item? Or maybe this is the 20th take and he just wants to get home to his beautiful crocodile puppet wife? Let's keep it rolling, shall we?
Hurry, hurry! It's the Crazy Crocos! 10 different classmates from Kinder Surprise!
We're the Crazy Crocos, we keep our teachers on their toes.
They're nothing but trouble.
We're the Crazy Crocos.
And they're hand-painted from their head to their toes. There are also over 100 other exciting toys to collect with Milky Chocolate Kinder Surprise. Ho-ho!
Snappy Crazy Crocos, a one surprise in three.
So, I didn't grow up with Kinder Surprises, but my boyfriend did since he spent a chunk of his childhood in Germany. Americans can't be trusted with chocolate eggs with toys inside because we will just unhinge our mouths and swallow them, plastic and all. Apparently he had some of these things, and what's not to like? There's a ton of personality in these designs. These little guys each have official designations, but there were actually a number of different sets released. If you had the whole set, you could get this, crocodile coffin to put them in. Don't they look comfortable? And they even have their names on these little cartouches. A place for everything and everything in its place. So like I said, there's various sets. We have some names here like Freddy Fetfleck, Lisa Liebritz, Bobby Breakdance, Mike Macho, Connie Crazy, Gloria Glanzvoll. So I'm guessing they had different names based on the different countries that they came out in, but I can't really find English language versions of these names. There were several sets released with a rotating cast of characters, and unfortunately the scan I have is very, crunchy. However, I can see well enough to tell you that this hot violin teacher's name is Tina, and the distinguished portly Professor Crocodile is named Conrad, and I hope they're seeing each other on the side. It's nice that we have two female teachers, actually. I think Adele here teaches geometry. Let's hope there's room in the swamp for 3. This next ad is amazing and sadly still relevant. Let's check it out.
Oh, everyone knew Steven. I used to envy him. Good job, nice home. But that wasn't good enough. He wanted to get rich quick. He cheated, took bribes. He didn't care who he hurt, even his friends and family. I reported him to the ICAC. Somebody had to. Now nobody wants anything to do with him.
Will Vinton Productions created this amazing shady executive and then morphed him into a frankly gorgeous crocodile creep with a nice chubby neck. I could probably fix him, but it would require a leash and collar. This ad is supposed to encourage you to report corruption to the government. But wait, those are some kanji down there. What gives? Well, as it turns out, the Independent Commission Against Corruption is an agency operating in Hong Kong since 1974. Hong Kong, of course, was famously under a 99-year British lease at the time, which began after the Qing Dynasty government lost a war with them. And why was this war being fought? Well, China wanted to ban opium, and Britain was making a lot of money on it, so they wanted to force them to keep letting them sell opium in their country. Opium addiction was killing people, but hey, if a colonial power can make money off death, you better believe it'll go all in. This is a very simplified version of events, but it's incredibly fucked up, and Britain should probably apologize before their own century of humiliation gets completely underway. I've talked a lot about Will Vinton in the past, particularly in my Claymation Comedy of Horrors episode, but I'll give you a quick rundown. Will was a visionary, an Oscar and Emmy laureate, and an incredible artist. In 2002, his company underwent a hostile takeover by Phil Knight, co-founder of Nike and a billionaire, obviously, because how do you become a billionaire without allegedly leaning on slave labor, like Nike does? And if you think that's just a rumor of the 80s and 90s, Congress was investigating them for it as recently as 2023. Great. Phil put his son Travis Knight into the CEO position at Will Vinton Studios, renamed Leica in 2005. No matter how much you enjoy Leica's work as a studio, the realities of its creation shouldn't be ignored. Stories of covetous capitalism gutting creative industries while chewing up and spitting out artists are all too common, and it's difficult to separate the studio's work from these circumstances, just like it's difficult to separate Disney's work from, well, Disney. Shall we continue? I've got a set of 3 for you, and these ads are some big ones.
Everybody picks on me. Nobody likes me.
Well, you can't really blame them. You've killed and crippled millions of Americans.
They didn't have to smoke. It was their choice.
But you knew cigarettes were addictive and you lied about it.
Oh, that was the old me. I'm into community service now. Have you seen my ads?
Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Anything. This is the new me.
Are you going to keep selling cigarettes? I said, are you going to... Just thought I'd ask. I see you're back on television.
$100 million worth.
What's it been, maybe 30 years off TV?
A long time. Too long.
So how'd you pull it off?
We just stay away from the C word.
Cancer?
No, cigarettes. We don't say anything about cigarettes on the tube. We talk about beer, we talk about cheese, and we talk about community service.
And get that smoky old brand name out there, right?
Bingo. What? You're not going to start that again. Cigarettes are deadly. Smoking is addictive. Old news. Old news. Hey, have you seen my new ads? About the big bucks I'm putting out for scholarships and soup kitchens? And how about those homeless shelters? Look, this isn't just about you. Do you have any idea how hard it is to run a business that year after year kills 400,000 of its best customers?
No, your ears don't deceive you. That is Harry Shearer of Simpsons fame, essentially doing his Principal Seymour Skinner voice for this alligator ad.
Oh, that isn't smoke. It's steam. Steamed from the steamed clams we're having.
This trio of ads was created for the California Department of Public Health. And the inspiration? The phrase crocodile tears, a metaphor meaning false tears used to draw in prey or acquire sympathy, which is the title of the first ad in the series. It's a very old phrase in broad use as far back as Plutarch's time, and supposedly refers to actual crocodiles crying as they're devouring their victims. Obviously not a real animal behavior, by the way. The croc in these commercials was animated at Kurtz & Friends, headed by Bob Kurtz, and it's very likely he was designed by Bob himself. The studio was famous for their work on Sesame Street, in commercials, and in title sequences in films. Remember title sequences? They also animated Mr. DNA and Jurassic Park. Quite an impressive resume. These ads are charming because of the sketchy black and white animation style headed by Shane Zalvin, a storyboard artist and animator on Space Jam, Thumbelina, Ferngully, Rockadoodle, and more. That is some serious furry cred. The croc is well designed, full of character, and well voiced by a veteran actor. More importantly, it works. These ads expose hypocrisy in tobacco advertising and business practices, and do so at a critical time. These ads came out in the year 2000, only 2 years after the Tobacco Master Settlement Agreement, an agreement between the Attorneys General of 46 states and the 4 major U.S. tobacco companies, which resulted in the prohibition of targeting advertising towards minors, and the payment of $206 billion to the states for tobacco-related healthcare costs. Reflecting their quality, this ad series won numerous awards, including a Clio, a U.S. International Film and TV Award, and 2 Tellys. There exist a few more bits of character development for this guy, including him cross-dressing as a cigarette girl both in color and in this full-page ad run in Rolling Stone with quotes written by English comedian Paul Key, seen here hoarding hair. Top drawer stuff. Next up...
Heard about the POMs coming?
How's that?
It's the sport and chance game in the Daily Star. They just match the number on the card with the one in the paper, and that could win them a fortnight for 2 down under.
Bit of a waste, isn't it? What, buying them return tickets?
Classic dry English humor about devouring tourists. Wonderful puppets here, definitely of the hand puppet variety, and it's nice to see that they can get as wet and swampy as real crocodiles in a setting complete with kookaburra calls. Something about a crocodile puppet being wet makes it feel so much more real, although the styling of these guys is firmly cartoony. These guys kind of remind me of Round the Bend, a children's television series from 1989 also broadcast in the UK.
Lou, tell me, what would you rather be, a live souvenir salesman or a dead artist?
Color or black and white?
Speaking of carnivores, the Daily Star is a tabloid whose slogan is "News with a Wink." Great. They launched in 1978 and have since published more than 10,000 papers. Check out this list of lawsuits and controversies. Obviously, tabloids were never the best way to get your news, but these days there's not much separating even the most rancid, misleading, agenda-pushing tabloid from, say, the toilet paper they print the New York Times and the Guardian on. The Daily Star apparently also had little games you could play with cards that had an illustration of the mythical Strayan on them, obviously capitalizing on 1986's Crocodile Dundee. It's easy to forget how silly the 80s were. They're so often represented as this cool, sleek magazine cover time period where everything was glowing and glossy and looked like a Nagel print. But this commercial is a better representation of the kind of stuff going on in the 80s the majority of the time. Prepackaged versions of decades sold to you by corporations are never as interesting as the real thing, and I encourage you to tread off the beaten path when you're digging into old media. You might see something you never expected to like. Next up...
A young crocodile had a great fondness for Heinz baked beans. He thought they tasted so much better than ordinary beans, but he knew they cost a little more. Ashamed of this tiny extravagance, he took to eating in a cupboard, with the light off. Come along, his mother smiled. You needn't hide your Heinz baked beans. That special taste alone would make them worth a little more. Besides, this can of Heinz beans gives you more dietary fiber than 10 slices of wholemeal bread. So every penny spent on Heinz baked beans is a penny wisely spent.
Ah, Heinz beans. Beans so compelling the Who sold out for them. The H.J. Heinz Company was founded in 1869 by H.J. Heinz and lasted 140 years before folding in 2013 and being purchased by Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's multinational conglomerate. They then merged with GMO giant Kraft and became the 5th largest food and beverage company in the world. What have they been doing since? Well, in 2023, they paid out over $500 million in settlements after plaintiffs alleged the company artificially inflated the price of their stock. Where have I been hearing about dramatic overvaluations lately? Oh, right. Large language models, referred to as artificial intelligence as a marketing term, AI doesn't exist, and those who boost them. It's almost like lying and fixing and insider trading among those already in power are key components of capitalism rather than unfortunate errors. Look what you can do with something resembling a budget and vision. A commercial for a can of beans becomes a touching family scene where non-threatening, toothless crocodiles display a charming, wartime worry about cost that would have resonated with adults who had grown up during or after World War II and were now making household purchasing decisions. Wow, I wonder what it's like to worry about soaring food prices during times of unprecedented instability. This was one of 3 ads, 2 also featuring hippos and walruses, directed by Oscar Grillo, the great Argentinian animator. For more about Oscar, check out my last commercial video about cats. It's no wonder he's showing up in this one too, because he's an absolutely legendary commercial animator. You can check out his old personal blog here. This ad is likely from 1983, and there's a very late 70s sensibility to the color palette. There's nothing particularly vibrant or fast-moving going on, but there's intentionality to the movements and care given. I think animating something moving slowly is as difficult as quick, dynamic movements, and it was Eric Goldberg who animated these for Clacto Animation, the animation company owned by Oscar Grillo and Ted Rockley. Animator magazine interviewed Oscar Grillo in 1988, and he had this to say about commercial animation. Commercial TV is the principal reason we have an animation industry in Great Britain today, he will tell you, but it is commercial television of a certain kind. Sponsors are able to commission glossy productions to promote their products, and their attitude has allowed animation to move on from the stark but economical styles of the 60s to interesting, even indulgently executed work done perhaps as an antidote to the appallingly limited animated television series. The only reason animation has survived, and the reason why Art Babbitt gave lectures to anyone prepared to listen, is because someone was convinced they wanted animation made to a higher standard than that which has become the norm. It's an unfortunate truth that animation on a large scale suffers under budget considerations. At the same time, the growth of digital platforms led to animated commercials continuing to be produced because they're smaller, faster, and cheaper, and businesses love that. Unfortunately, they love it so much that they'll go all in on a disgusting scam like image generators, doing untold harm on the animation industry that has been instrumental in keeping them afloat all these years. There's no sense of loyalty in our craven economic hellscape. Let's move on to our next ads, a pair of 2.
Noto, kimochi. Kando kenko, noto ame.
These commercials were produced by Magari Office, the Japanese stop-motion company headed by Fumiko Magari, which I also dug into for my last commercial video on cats. And this fact is how I know there are 3 of these commercials. Why? Well, the Magari Office website has a section detailing the studio's works, and the first entry on the list of works before 2007 is none other than our Pinku Wani-chan. The ads are likely from 1981, when this particular variety of candy appeared on the market, but for the life of me, I can't locate this last commercial, which is the version I want to see the most. I've dug through countless hours of raw, unlabeled commercial uploads from that year, but it just never pops up. Is what I would say if I didn't just find the commercial earlier today. Yay! If you saw my post a month ago, you'll know that I've been looking for this one for a while. About as long as I've had the other commercials, which is a little over a year. To be on the eve of posting the episode and suddenly finding it is a huge deal for me. I think looking for these things really allows me to explore that huntress mindset. Awoo. While working on this episode, I decided to look through a few more uploads of raw VHS commercials from the year this one came out. Without further ado, here's the commercial.
Noto, shiawase desu. Kando kenko, noto ame.
Ah, what a beauty. The song that she's singing is Ave Maria, but again, it's got some Conroe-related lyrics. Basically, it's saying it'll make your throat happy. There's a lot of reasons why I like this commercial than the other two. First of all, she's got a wedding dress on and that's kind of my thing. Dig the shades, but notably, I really like the way that in this one, when she swallows the candy, her throat bulges just a little bit more. I just think it makes it a little bit more interesting visually. Now, speaking of music, let's talk about the other ones. The song used in the schoolgirl version is probably Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or something closely related. The tune comes from the original 18th century French children's song À vous de rager maman, which is based in turn on La Confidence Naïve, the original anonymous lyrics about a young girl confessing to her mother about a sweet-talking lover taking advantage of her affection. As for the geisha, they had a little fun and gave her un bel di vedremo, one of the most famous soprano arias in opera, which comes from Puccini's Madama Butterfly in 1904. Cho-Cho-san, Butterfly, is yearning for the return of her U.S. Navy husband B.F. Pinkerton, but here, interestingly, I think Conroe changed up the lyrics. She's not saying un bel di vedremo. Can you hear the first word? It's Conroe, the name of the company. I can't place all the lyrics, but this seems to be reworked into talking about the brand, which I suppose is cute. Conroe Japan was founded in 1912 by Masakazu Miyamoto under the name Miyamoto Confectionery. Released in 1955, Conroe turned out to be the most popular variety of one of their many candies, so they changed the name of the company in 1960. Although they make a wide variety of candies now, the original Conroe are a sweet soy sauce flavor, and you can still buy packs of them. They were the first candy in Japan to be individually wrapped in cellophane. The candies advertised in these commercials are a variety called nodo ame, or throat candy. We call them cough drops. Conroe is the Japanese name for Amrita, the magical elixir of immortality first appearing in the Rig Veda. Companies are nothing if not shamelessly self-important. Here comes my last commercial, and if you're a millennial from the USA, you probably remember this one.
Gator golf! Step right up!
What could be greater than golf with a gator?
Gator golf, give it a whack. Gator golf,
Yeah.
throw it right back. Gator golf, what could be greater than playing a game of golf with a gator?
It's Gator golf. Hit the ball in his mouth to score. The gator will toss it back out.
Gator golf, with the ball in his mouth. Gator golf, he'll turn all about.
You take a shot, Dad.
Okay.
You win! Watch a pro!
Gator golf, what could be greater than playing a game of golf with a gator?
Gator golf.
I think Watch a Pro has lived in everyone's brains for decades. Actually, all the copy in this ad is incredible, to say nothing of the effects. You're telling me they literally built a gator-themed mini-golf set on a soundstage somewhere and made a big fat gator fursuit with not one but two cute little costumes? They really used to go all out, and just for a few seconds of footage to illustrate the fantasy of what gator golf could do for you. Just look at this 90s house. Every house had these boring flower prints with the glossy gold frames. The rattan furniture? I can almost smell the carpet cleaner. Gator golf was invented by the same guy, Robert B. Fuhrer, woof, unfortunate surname, who invented Crocodile Dentist. Actually, let's take a look at that ad too, since these are Scaly siblings.
Help me, my toothache! No worries, I'm the Crocodile Dentist. I'll fix that smile, you crocodile. I'm the Crocodile Dentist.
Crocodile dentist.
Just grab and pull. There's quite a mouthful. I'm the Crocodile Dentist.
Crocodile dentist.
The game's Crocodile Dentist. Take turns pulling teeth, but don't pull the wrong one or he'll snap and you're out. It's a mouthful of fun, but don't pull the wrong one. I'm the Crocodile Dentist.
Crocodile dentist.
Win!
I feel so much better.
Crocodile dentist.
From Milton Bradley.
Great crocodile, gorgeously animated with a great low-hanging belly and squonky snout. I guess the inventor was just constantly thinking about crocodilians. Furry, perhaps? Milton Bradley was no stranger to furry commercials in the 90s. Look what they were doing to advertise the ancient enemy of the Crocodile Dentist, Hungry Hungry Hippos.
What for lunch?
It's Hungry Hungry Hippo!
Hungry, hungry hippo! We're hungry, hungry hippo! We love to feed our face. We're hungry, hungry hippo! We're in a leading race.
It's Hungry
hungry hippos. First to gobble up the most marbles wins.
Hungry hippos. We're hungry hippos. We love to feed our face. We're hungry hippos. We're in an eating race.
How's about dessert?
We're hungry hippos. Hungry hippos. Hungry hippos.
We're hungry! Play Hungry Hippos!
Fun, by the ton. They're hungry hippos. It's a wild race. Feed your hippos space. They're hungry hippos.
It's Hungry Hippos! Whoever gobbles up the most marbles wins!
You better eat fast. Food won't last. They're hungry hippos. It's fun, by the ton. They're hungry hippos.
Hungry Hippos from Milton Bradley!
This one probably had an effect on some of us.
We're hungry hippos.
And if that didn't do it, this one went in for the object vore kill shot. Milton Bradley was established by none other than Milton Bradley in 1860. Hasbro acquired it in 1984, merged it with their Parker Brothers line in 1988, and ultimately discontinued its use in 2009. I still think all games are made by Milton Bradley, but then I remember my brain is operating on old information. Hasbro, unfortunately, has been embroiled in a litany of controversies I've gone into in previous episodes. As of just a few weeks ago, Hasbro has asked child actors on its acquired animated series Peppa Pig to sign over their voices to artificial intelligence. AI clauses have grown more widespread in contracts across industries, but having them in children's contracts is particularly rancid. Children are at best a commodity under capitalism, and actions like these only make that more obvious. I'd hate to end the show on such a negative note, so I'm going to show you just one more amazing alligator game commercial that my friend Riley shared with me.
The alligator wants food to chew. Feed him just right or he'll feed on you.
Better be lucky with the spinner that tells you to feed him or take out his dinner.
Give him a TV, only he knows just when his jaws are ready to close.
Take out a jug, put in a case.
He's losing his patience, just look at that face. Feed him a can if that's what you choose. Throw in a block and you lose. The alligator game.
From Ideal.
This is Alligator the Game, based on the film of the same name and same year, 1980. Riley talked about this movie in my interview with her recently, and I had the pleasure of watching it and its sequel. These movies rule. They're formulaic in a satisfying cartoon sort of way, but present great characters you can't help but love. The sequel, Alligator 2, expands on the concept, but makes it political in a Gremlins 2 sort of way. And homoerotic in a Gremlins 2 sort of way. Both films make use of miniatures and are just fun. Check them out if you love creature features. Look at this thing. This makes Crocodile Dentist look like pretty princess. That completes my list. I hope you found some friends to accompany you in the river. Actually, wait. Did anyone else have one of these as a kid? I could swear I spent a lot of time in the water clinging to one of these things. Look at his little face. He's having so much fun at the minimalist hypergloss Apple store paying too much for mediocre tech. Once again, I'd love to thank my wonderful Laserdisc Patreon supporters. For only $10, you can listen to your name gurgling its last at the bottom of the riverbed where I dragged it kicking and screaming. So thank you Spooky Fox, Bitter Corella, King Butt Stallion, Fellis Rin, Tosca, Dominic Foxley, Victor the Mewtwo, Alex McFall, Joe the English Otter, Silly Scotty Dog, Stubadub, and Crown. And here are my beta tape Patreon supporters. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you next time.